live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I am Stephanie Fitzpatrick, aka the Advantage Coach.
This is episode 105 of the Fields of the Real podcast.
Yes.
Moseying on along.
Yes.
We just jumped that first 100.
Right, now it feels like we're back now. At the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. Like, 105. Yeah.
Well, no, so we this episode we're gonna give women's basketball, college women's basketball is just due, and we're gonna start off from the beginning. There's one thing I wanted to say before we got to who's really right. This women's NCAA tournament is the most watched ever.
Yeah, I love it.
Which is,
it's been amazing.
Yeah, it has. And I haven't seen the entire tournament. Actually, I haven't seen the entire tournament for either men or
right.
And I've actually watched more women's games than I have men. This game that just passed between Baylor and Connecticut was an amazing game. It showed the true grit and fight of the UConn women's basketball team, and for them to be as young as they are, to be able to pull out that win was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. So I wanted to highlight that first, but how was your bracket looking?
Well, you know what? I don't know what I did with my bracket. Listen. Here I go again. There, like I had it with me.
You lost your bracket.
I done lost my bracket. Give me 2 seconds, y'all.
Oh no, you okay.
Yeah, I need to go get my bracket. I know where it is. I'm gonna go get it.
All right, let's see. So no, go ahead. No, go get your bracket.
Okay.
All right, bracket secured.
Bracket's good. Sorry, y'all.
All right, so my bracket is completely ruined. My men's bracket.
Oh, okay.
My women's bracket, obviously, well, not obviously, because some of you may not have heard last week, or some of you just may not have remembered what my picks was, but I had picked Baylor over UConn, which means that my bracket on both sides is torpedoed. And yeah, but my men's bracket, I ain't.
So what we at? Final Four? We
Four.
at the championship, right? Because we did Final Four. Oh, we at Final Four?
Yeah, so we we say who's gonna win the Final Four, then who's gonna win the championship.
Okay.
You want to start with men's or women's?
Let's start with the women. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies first.
Oh, you know, you MC this thing. Why are you playing? Come on. You got to say who in it, and then I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
What's good? What's up? Right.
All right, let's see. Where's my women's bracket? I don't like how CBS only has the men's bracket, so I have to go into.
Don't get me started. Listen.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh no, I should be able to find it. Bracket.
So we got
bracket. We have for the Final Four for the women, we have number 1 Stanford versus number 5 Missouri State.
Missouri State. Okay.
And number 1 UConn. Wait. Is this right? No,
I don't know. They don't. Is
right.
it? Stanford ain't playing. They don't. No. Hold on.
Oh, okay. No. I'm sorry. I had looked a week back. So
okay. I was like, Stanford not playing. That was the last game they played. Yeah. Okay.
So it looks like this is the championship for the women, because that was their Final Four. So number 1 Stanford played Louisville, and Stanford won. And number 1 UConn played Baylor, and UConn won. So we're choosing the champion for this.
Can I show my paper? Can I show? Can I show? Can you see that?
Stanford versus UConn?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think I had, what did I have? Stanford versus Baylor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Stanford versus Baylor.
No, sir. I knew this was going when it was coming down to. Yeah. And so my
All
paper tells my story again if you look at it, because I circled it.
So who you got winning? Wait, hold on. Who you got winning? Okay, UConn winning? I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna go Stanford.
Okay. No problem.
I don't know why I'm betting against Gino Oriemo.
That's my point.
I'm gonna go Stanford just so I can have a little bit of bragging right in the event
if they
Stanford wins.
Got you.
So
okay.
You got UConn. I got Stanford.
Okay.
Let's see who's really right. You guys tell. You guys.
Yeah. Now y'all can do who's really right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the Final Four.
Yeah.
Men's Final Four. We have number 1 Gonzaga versus number 11 UCLA.
Okay.
And we have number 1 Baylor versus number 2 Houston.
So I had 3 of these 4 right.
Okay. Dang, for real?
Yep. I did. Only one I missed was UCLA. And if I was to show you my paper, they were my pick originally, and I scratched it out and changed my mind. So, but but I'm going Gonzaga.
You going Gonzaga over UCLA?
Yeah.
And
I'm going Baylor.
Baylor over Houston?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is the only way for me to salvage my championship. So I got to go Houston over Baylor because I did have them in the championship, but I had Michigan winning, and Michigan got upset by UCLA. Gonzaga versus UCLA. As much as I would want to pick UCLA, Gonzaga hasn't lost all year, and I don't think they're going to choose this game to lose. So I'm going Gonzaga versus Houston, and I'm going to go with Houston to win it all. What's that circle? Who you got? Gonzaga to win it all? Okay.
But I had them in here. I had the 2 teams in. Gonzaga and Baylor.
Gonzaga and Baylor.
Oh, yeah. I know my stuff, y'all. Listen. Listen.
All right,
I know my stuff. Like, don't play about don't play with me. I know my stuff.
We won't be able to do the who's really right until we get to the finals, but I'm going Houston to win it all. You said you're going Gonzaga to win it all.
Gonzaga to win it all for men, and I'm going UConn to win it all for women.
All right. So by the next podcast, we'll know who know
who's really right. Absolutely.
So we won't be able to address this again. I'm just thinking about, like, in the event that UCLA upsets Gonzaga. Yeah. Or,
right.
For you,
right.
At
Houston this point, it would be busted if. Yeah. We would. Neither one of us would be right at that.
Right. We'll watch it. We'll monitor and see how it shakes out.
We'll see. Yeah. I don't believe that's gonna happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, one of them gonna win from one of the sides. Now it would only be messed up for the both of us if Baylor wins, which is what you have, and if UCLA wins. Yeah. So, all right, you guys let us know who you agree with, who you think is really right. Yeah. What you guys, what your picks are, and let us know what your bracket looks like, because I posted mine the day or yesterday, and somebody was like, "Yeah, you don't need to pick no more." Oh, God. It's funny. I get all the rude comments via text message. They won't post it on the page. I don't want to say it on there when people can see it. Like, dude, what was on your mind? Right. That's funny. All right. Yeah. Let us know who's really right. Who's really right. All right. So this Isaiah Wilson story is getting more and more. What's the word I'm looking for? Just bizarre. Concerning. That's a good one. Concerning. Yeah. It's getting more and more bizarre. This guy was a first round draft pick by the Titans last year. Out of Georgia.
This is the part I'm having a problem with, sir.
I mean, I don't know what y'all doing in Georgia.
Hey, hold up. Look, hey, hold up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Just a Georgia girl in the North Carolina world.
That's it. So, yeah.
No, but, we spoke a little bit a few weeks ago about his story, about him wanting to be traded from the Titans and saying that he wouldn't play there. So he got his wish.
Mm-hmm.
He was traded from the Titans to the Dolphins. Then he was cut 3 days later.
3 days.
Which is, that's really bizarre. Because for the Dolphins to, take on that responsibility, you would think they did their due diligence. You would think, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
to invest some type of draft capital in bringing him to the team.
Right. I feel like part of this is he's from the same place that the head coach is from.
Okay.
And so he may have felt like he could connect with him.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Kind of help him along. But I'm not sure. So did they ever say that the reason that they cut him was because of the incident in January? Is that why they cut him? Have they said?
They haven't said it.
It's just weird.
But I would think that you wouldn't have traded for him if that was an issue. You wouldn't have wasted that.
Did they know all of the facts at the time though? Like, had it all come out? Like, had he been officially charged? It's so weird to me. That whole thing was weird anyway. Right. So for you all who are listening, you probably, if you don't know, he got arrested January 7th, I believe it was, for pretty much a chase he got into with the police. He was going 123 miles per hour when they clocked him. And then he went up to 140 miles per hour trying to get away from them, and ended up they stopped pursuing him for safety reasons. And he ended up having a crash shortly thereafter. Him and the girl walked away from it apparently. So that was a blessing. At that speed that you all could get out of the car and go anywhere, that you're alive, so, but when we had this conversation before, my concern was, does this baby want to play football? Has anybody had that conversation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on top of the speed, when they looked in the car, it was some drug paraphernalia. He got charged with what was it? He had drug paraphernalia. He had weed in the car. It was some other stuff, but I'm just concerned if he really wants to play football, or sometimes your demons are just stronger than that. You know what I mean? I remember this, and he came from Georgia too. Jesus, wait a minute! Oh God, I just thought about it. Quincy Carter.
Yes.
So much potential. He was supposed to be where Dak is back in the day, before they even knew who Tony Romo was.
You said before they knew who was?
Tony Romo.
Okay, yes.
Before they know who Tony Romo was, Quincy Carter was supposed to be, because he was supposed to be the heir apparent, right?
To Troy Aikman.
To Troy. And them demons, man,
Well, so you called it, right? Apparently the Dolphins didn't know the full scope of what happened, and that's the reason. And so he was just charged.
That's what I thought.
March 24th. He was just charged.
Yeah.
So the incident was January 7th. He was just charged March 24th.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins didn't have full scope of what happened. And so now that they know they
ain't trying to hear it. Yeah.
Immediately release them.
Yeah.
So I just pray that he gets his life together before this whole, before thinking about coming back to football. It's kind of the same thing that we talked about with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, like make sure you're whole. Like, right. If you want to play the sport and you love it like that, which I do believe Antonio Brown does, it's different. Like I don't know if you do. Like I just don't know if you do.
Yeah.
But I do believe Antonio Brown absolutely. Like yes, he wants to play football, but making sure you're whole as a human being because there is so much demand. And if nothing else that we've learned from watching like I Am Athlete or All the Smoke or any like Shannon Sharp, any of these, Club Shay Shay, any of these podcasts and listening to these former professional athletes or even our own friends who are former professional athletes and their stories, it's a lot of pressure. And it's a lot of, you need to be all the way right in your everything in order to be your best in that space, right? And so I want him to take care of him first. Like and again, I mean, we do this every week. They talked about this on I Am Athlete. And Brandon's point was like, whose responsibility is it when it's a situation like this, when you're questioning whether somebody's mental stability is there?
Right.
Is it the NFL? Should they just be like, oh, we're washing our hands of you?
Right.
Or, is it friends? Is it family? Like, they had this whole conversation around that. And, Ocho, he thinks differently.
Yeah.
His whole thing was, we can't always push it off on mental illness. And saying that's what's wrong. Sometimes he was like, sometimes people, he didn't use the word people. Sometimes people, I'll just tell you it's a double digit one of those. Well, no, it's a triple. Sorry. 4. Sorry. Listen, I don't even know how to, 4 syllables. Anyway, he said sometimes people just mess up.
Yeah.
And they need to not have the crutch of saying, oh, this is something mental. And I get that, but when all the signs point to that,
right,
we can't ignore it. And it's just might not possibly be that that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's true. To give credence to what he's saying, I do feel like there are people who would try to take advantage.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, yeah,
Yeah, I was crazy when I killed her or slapped her.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, no.
Like,
no, you were crazy, stupid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I pray he gets some help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it sounds like you need help, even if it's nothing else but your drug habit.
Right.
If nothing else, right? Your drug habit. Yeah. When it becomes more important, and it seems like you haven't matured because even when we had this conversation before, why are you a professional athlete at a Tennessee State University boy?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not how this works.
Right, bring them to your house. Like don't
Fred. Let's see this when you talk to the OG Fred would have told you what to do. Right. But anyway, so like you said, I hope this young man gets what he needs. Somebody hopefully will, and they talked about this too, and I totally agree with this. Everybody needs non-yes men.
Right.
You need some real friends.
Mm-hmm. Who want
to be like, listen, some ain't right, bro. What's up?
Right.
Like, what we need to do.
Right.
Like, real talk. Not worrying about whether you like what I said. I don't care because I don't need nothing from you. If you give it, great. If you don't, oh well, I'm gonna tell you the truth anyway. Like, they need friends like that.
Right.
They do. They need friends like that.
Yeah.
So every athlete, every celebrity, every athlete, every person that's in front of a spotlight, they need people like that in their lives because,
right.
They need us because I'm real. I don't know how not to tell people.
Right. Right.
I don't care who you are. Sorry. Not sorry.
Man.
So yeah. All right.
Let's jump to this story about Mulkey. I don't even know how to pronounce
Mulkey.
The head basketball coach of the head women's basketball coach of the Baylor Bears. And her statements about not testing for COVID for the Final Four.
But you gotta do the backstory now because you know it now.
What you mean?
The non-call.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So this is what I didn't realize then, right? Because that was the Final Four. Right. So they were already in it, but she didn't feel like they should have gotten tested for it, right? So So UConn plays Baylor in the Final Four. And before the Final Four game, Kim Mulkey had made a statement about, them not needing the test for the Final Four, which doesn't make sense because you guys are still around each other. It's still contagious. We still need to check to make sure.
What are you saying? Because you done been tested all the way up through that it doesn't matter anymore. Like I'm confused. Her statement it was irresponsible from a head coach.
It was, but then when you realize who she's associated with, I mean, doesn't make.
We ain't had to talk about him.
Right.
In months. And it's been lovely.
You know what? So I won't even bring his name up.
Listen, it's been lovely not having to talk about him.
You guys can search to see who she's associated with.
Yeah.
But
let's just say it's a whole bunch of people who don't wear masks and get sick hanging out together at the White House. Okay.
But I guess from the lens, initially we were looking at this like
she was salty.
She was salty, but from this lens, was this a poetic justice that her team didn't make it to the championship?
Exactly.
So y'all can go at home and not wear no mask and not get tested. Just don't be around here with that.
Right. No more testing for you, boo. So but it's irresponsible on the real. It's irresponsible. And I don't know if I was one of her players, how I feel about that. Like, wait, what? Because what are you saying? Like, because you had COVID. So you probably got antibodies that's keeping you from, you know what I'm saying, being in that situation. But everybody on your team did. Right. And so what are you saying? How do you feel about us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's ridiculous. That was one of those like, huh? It was the Scooby-Doo thing for me. Like, wait, what? Did she really say that? It was real stupid. Anyway, it was socially and professionally irresponsible.
Right.
Yeah. Like, really, sir? Like, really, sweetheart? That's how you see this? Yeah. Okay. Sure. So yeah. But nonetheless, we don't have to worry about that anymore, do we?
They gone.
Goodbye.
All right, let's jump into this Hue Jackson story because
so fascinating.
I've looked at this kind of ever since he was fired. I kind of looked at it kind of sketchily, and in fairness, he didn't have as much success as they probably would have wanted him to have. But I felt
did they?
Yeah. So to jump into this story, Hue Jackson has a theory about his tenure with Cleveland, and he feels like he was hired with the Cleveland Browns for them to test out their theory on analytics and use that to rebuild the franchise. And they did it. They got their research, and then once it was done, they decided to get rid of him and bring somebody else in. And I'm sure you can tell. Well, no, let me not assume that you know. Hue Jackson is a black man, and his replacement is not a black man. Just to but he feels like he was an expendable piece of the puzzle. What did you think when you heard that? When you saw this story?
It was first of all, I felt like it needed to be. They need to make this into some kind of movie, right?
Right.
Because it just sounds like such intriguing stuff. But it's kind of hard not to think that he might be right. I mean, look at the success the team has had since.
Yeah.
Right? You've been meticulously putting together the pieces. You didn't get him the pieces that, you know what I mean? Like, it just it was like it makes me think about the Tuskegee experiments. Like, kind of, you just used all of these people
right
to figure out what worked, and then you're like, okay, well, we can just throw them away now. Like, well,
right.
Like, that's the kind of the attitude or the feeling I got. And so, a lot of people have been saying, well, why he wait 2 years to come out and say something? Because that brother ain't stupid. His contract wasn't up until March. The 17th, I think.
Right.
And the next day he was,
yeah, I'm saying. Let me get all my money first.
All my coins from y'all.
Out y'all.
Then. Yeah. So, he it's hard to argue. I mean, we'll never know.
We won't, yeah.
Truthfully, because they ain't gonna never just be like, yes, that's what we did. So we'll never know if that's really what happened. But he said, I'm looking at a quote, he said, I think I became the fall guy because that was the narrative. The truth needs to come out for other minority coaches. They need to know the pitfalls out there. My story has affected some of their futures.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I can't think of anybody other than Mike Tomlin, who is in a cushy position as an African American in a head coaching position.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
and that's just the culture of their organization.
Right.
That they just we don't just get rid of
coaches.
We don't do that. Like that. No. They've had 3 coaches in the whole time that they've had a franchise. Like, and the only reason, what's his name? Spit-a-Lot ain't there no more is because he left. He chose.
Yeah, he chose to leave. He retired.
Yeah.
Or he still be the coach.
Yeah.
And then they put their money where their mouth was with the hiring of Tomlin.
Right.
And he won the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm just seeing. He's writing a book. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a movie.
It's
gonna be on one of these. It's gonna be ESPN gonna bust out and make a movie because it's gonna be.
I'm gonna have to get that book because I know. I'm trying to think whose book did I read? Denny Green's. And that was a really good book. God rest his soul. That was a really good book. I remember one of my neighbors. One of my neighbors from my childhood, high school. One day he just came over and gave me the book and was like, "Man, I want you to read this." I'm sure. If he didn't think I was going to read it, he wouldn't have given it to me. But I'm sure he didn't think I was going to read it as quickly as I did.
Yeah.
So he and I got to discuss it after I finished it.
Okay.
Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? I can't. His name is on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it right now, but he knows who he is.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. He gave me that book. Didn't expect me to read it so quickly. Got back and I was able to talk to him about it. So
yeah, no, that's cool. But yeah, so I mean, and he's still struggling to find a job. I mean, and I don't understand. I mean, even they'll never be able to tell me it's because the man had a poor record.
Yeah, I mean,
Adam Gase had a job again after botching up in Miami.
Exactly got another job with the Jets.
You can't tell me.
And he did well with the Raiders
in Cincinnati. Oh yeah,
he did well with the Raiders. I'm not even talking about him being an assistant, like that shouldn't even be a question. He should be, people should be lining up to offer him a job as offensive
some kind of yeah.
But he had success as a head coach with the Raiders. Which is I believe how he was even considered for the Browns job, but it just it sucks if he was sabotaged in this way. It sucks that you know what I'm saying, like you already got a raw deal as an African American head coach, and then to be used as a fall guy or guinea pig.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've seen a lot of that. We're seeing not just about them being used as guinea pigs, but just I'm starting to feel like, is the NFL kind of mafia kind of the mindset? You know what I mean? Like, are y'all kind of some, like, you gonna do what I want you to do? You gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like
get whacked.
A story we refuse to talk about on here, but because we're gonna let it play out and see what happens. But it makes me question stuff like that. Like,
make you go,
yeah, really, it is. You're right. So I hope that if nothing else, and like the ego isn't even there. This man is like, I'll take an assistant coach job. I'm just somebody. Like, why wouldn't you want him? If nothing else, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what just happened with them, come on, really? I'm just saying.
Even after proving capable, like, I don't know.
That's sad. Anywho, yeah. So I hope that he gets something going for himself soon. I know that, he's down there at House of Athlete.
Right, yeah.
Helping out. So that's a plus.
Shout out to Brandon for, what I'm saying, like,
Brandon, listen, that he believe in the tribe.
Yeah.
And he believe in making that everybody, if I eat, you eat. That's like literally, he seems to be of that mindset, that type of dude. So yeah. Okay.
All right, mental health moment.
We need one of these ourselves.
Right.
Y'all don't understand.
Right.
We got about 4 hours of sleep between the two of us.
Man.
Whew.
We are in struggle city right now.
Ooh, buddy. Anyway, but we still here.
Yeah.
We love what we do. See?
Exactly.
See y'all. So this mental health moment is kind of almost, I don't know. I don't know why the circumstances are different, but I feel like, I guess it's because it's still your mama no matter what, right? Yeah. But it touched me. Yeah. It hit home. You know what I mean? Like, it hit home. It really did. Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. They played in New York for the first time in a while, I guess. And he's from that area. And so his dad, his family was there. But the big deal is, this was the first time since his mom passed away of COVID that his dad had been at a game. And so without his mom. And so I think that like punctuated for him, her not being there, right? Because he talked about how the personality that she had and how she was, and players from the other team knew her. They'd be talking to her like, "Hey, mama," this kind of stuff, or she'd be yelling and fussing, and dad's kind of more laid back, and not that dude like to be up talking and junk and all this kind of. But mama was a little more animated, and so he definitely was feeling that loss in that moment. He said it was emotional for him at the end when all he had was his dad to like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's wrong with dad, but my mama is gone. Like, yeah. And so I wanted to talk about this from the standpoint of grief and triggers and strategies for dealing with grief triggers. And just so I do a grief support group here in Charlotte for City of Charlotte employees. And so one of the things, so it's just a couple of things really quickly that I just wanted to mention. One, nobody's grief looks the same. So don't let anybody tell you how to grieve. Right. Let's just start there. They have categorized 5 to 7 stages of grief. And it is not a consecutive thing. It is, you could be all over the place on that, and it could happen at any time and any one of them. And so I tell people all the time, like, it's not like you graduate from being angry to acceptance. It just doesn't work that way. Today you might accept, tomorrow something might come up and make you pissed all over again, and you back to angry. So it's important to grieve the way that you grieve. And then the other thing I would say is a tool is the thing that I think was displayed with Karl Anthony Towns in this situation is your tribe. Having, even if it's just one person that you know that got your back, no matter what. And I think that's Dad in this case. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, they have to have each other.
Right.
He lost a wife. He's not just lost a mama. I lost a wife. So, but so that I just wanted to make that statement because I felt like doing grief support, people really find it helpful to hear, that it's okay. Just be you. Do you, however your grief looks.
That's what you do, yeah. Because like you said, like you'll have people who try to tell you how to grieve and what it should look like. And
no, you don't get the right to tell me that. You don't have the right to tell me that. Even if it was somebody even if it was you and a sibling and you both lost a parent, you still had different relationships with your parent. Therefore, your grief is going to look different. I don't care who you are. I don't care how similar things are. I don't tell people I understand because that's not true, because that's not my situation. I can listen and I can empathize, but I don't understand because that's not my situation.
Right.
Sorry.
No.
I be getting deep. Like this for me, this is serious.
That's real. I kind of just blinked out there because I was just thinking about, moments in my life where I may have experienced grief and I may not have, I may have handled different, triggers of grief differently. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was just kind of replaying that, just thinking about like certain things that may have happened. That I may have reacted to a certain way and like how it just looks different. You know?
No matter who you are. Like for him, this was a trigger. That's why I wanted to talk about it because not that you get over it. Grief is forever. I don't care who you are. When you lose, it's forever, right? So I'm not saying that he got over it. I'm saying he was coping. And then you hit a trigger. And now you got to go right back to trying to figure out what coping strategies do I have in order to be able to get back to that place where I'm okay. Like with my support group, we do a check-in at the beginning. I have them say whether it's a green, red, or a yellow day. Because every day is different. You know what I mean? And I give them an explanation for what that means. What's green, what's red, what's yellow. And so they check in and they say where they are that day. And that helps us in our group to know, like, okay, we probably need to pay a little more attention to such and such because they said they're having a red day, that kind of thing, Right. Yeah. So either way, I just really wanted to talk about that it's a little different than the typical mental health moment, in that it wasn't somebody overcoming or doing it. Was, I just wanted to use that example to talk about grief because we are all experiencing, especially during COVID, the same way Karl Anthony Towns has lost someone. Most of us can probably say somebody we know or somebody we know that they know, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's touched us somewhere, some way, some shape, some form. And if it hasn't, just the sheer fact that 560 or 75,000 people are dead, like that'll shake you to your core. I don't care. Right. Like if you got a heart, that should shake you.
Right.
You know, so we're grieving either way.
Right.
And so I just wanted to say that, just for people to know, to grieve how you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm stop preaching now.
Okay. Nah, you good. Nah, I was just thinking, you know, him losing his mom, like, especially at that young of an age, because I don't think he's any more than 24, 25.
Can't be too much more than that.
You know, that just thinking about how that weighs in on him. Like,
listen, I was 30. What is this? This has been it's been September will be 16 years. So I was early 30s.
Okay.
When my mom passed away. It was still too early.
Yeah.
Right. It was still too early. I was
right.
I was like 32, 33, somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime's too early.
Anytime's too early.
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Feel good final thought?
Yeah. This is hyped right here. I'm sorry.
Right. No, and I didn't know about this story until I actually saw the game and saw the fact that she played, even though she ended up getting injured again.
Yeah.
DiDi Richards of the Baylor Bears, the team that we spoke about earlier, who her coach isn't the most responsible person
right
when it comes to COVID.
Right.
She suffered a spinal cord injury in October that left her with no feeling in her legs.
Yeah, in her lower extremities. Yeah.
But she was able to make it back to help Baylor win the Elite Eight game.
Y'all heard that October. She ain't have no feeling in her lower extremities.
That was not even 6 months ago.
No.
Yeah. Like that's awesome. Like to just see her, out there playing and doing well. It's unfortunate that she suffered that injury and didn't get to finish the Final Four game.
Yeah.
But just to make it back to this point, like, man, that's determination for you.
Absolutely. And that's a feel good final thought right there. Like for real. Like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Now I feel like if these are the stories, like these stories of humanity, that I feel like I'm thinking about this from a humanity standpoint, but also from business, only because of how the WNBA and women's college basketball has been treated since its inception. But we look at how they've been treated, over the last just with the tournament just now. Like this is stuff that can be marketed to people. Like, I don't know why this story isn't being wildly told.
Right. No, this should have been like one of those things that, like you said, kind of a marketing tool that they use to draw people in, even though, thank God, like you said at the top of this show, more people were watching than ever, but still, this would have been one of those draw things. Like it's a tug at the heart type story that'll make you follow the Baylor Bears through just because you want to see what DiDi does. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, hey, she made it back. Let me see how they do. Like, So.
And we see plenty of these with the men's tournament.
Oh, for sure.
We see plenty of these, you know what I'm saying? And
all the time.
That's why I'm glad that, I was about to say we chose this one, but you chose this one.
No, we do. Yes.
Because these are the type of stories that we want to bring light to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With Feel Good Final Thought.
Absolutely.
And if you're not going to hear it in the mainstream media, like, we going to dig through and find these type of stories to bring to you guys. So
absolutely. It's necessary. Yeah. It's necessary. It's necessary because this is definitely not the stuff you hear, or you don't hear the stories about just these athletes doing good things, period. Like that's just not what you hear. Like it's not. So I love it. I love that we do this. I'm glad that we, have taken this mantle on, and we happy to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff.
All right. Show picks.
Show picks.
What you watching?
All right. So I done watched this crazy show called The Irregulars. Oh. I don't know why I got into it so much because it's crazy. When I say crazy, it's crazy. Yeah. So about these like pretty much homeless vagabond kind of teenagers who get involved with Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson in helping them to solve mysteries in the streets of London. Oh, wow. And it's it's a little sci-fi because one of them got some special powers, and it's just a little of everything. It was and it kind of, the one thing that I think that kept one of the things that kept my attention about the show is they took on the same kind of way the Bridgertons did, in that it was, even though it was Bridgertons in the time frame that it was supposed to be, you wouldn't have seen the racial like the cultural mix that you saw in the show. Like there were Black people, white people, all Asian. It was all kinds of people that that wouldn't have really happened if this was like period correct, right? It wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have. They would not even across the pond would they have been having Black and white people all dancing and at parties and having this prince be the Black man or the queen being the Black woman. That never would have happened. And so the same thing kind of happens with this show, is that they mix it all up. Main character, which I love, is an Asian American woman. Well, she's not Asian American, she's Asian English, I guess is what you would say. She's Asian English. And so so it's just a really good, it was good. It touched on a lot of stuff, touched on a lot of different like subject. It was really good.
What is this on?
Netflix.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So my movie is The United States versus Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
And so I think I was telling you this story when I was telling you that this was my movie choice. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure all of you must know because I say it all the time, I'm from Southeast Washington, D.C.
No, for real? Right. Y'all, who
knew? But in having grown up in Washington, D.C. in the time that I did, one of the things that that our teachers, our educators, the leadership of our city made sure that we knew, our history. Like my third grade year of elementary school, I remember being in a Black History bee. Like, and so this was sort of like a spelling bee, but instead of spelling bee, it was Black History facts, and we had to know the answer to the facts. And so I ended up coming in like 6th place, but just that foundation of like knowing, who our people are was instilled in me, from a young age.
Yeah.
So there's a mural in Southeast, right in the shopping center right there on Benning Road and Minnesota Avenue. For those of you who are listening from up top, and in this shopping center, you see this mural, and it has like a bunch of different Black entertainers and leaders who are, are decorated across this mural. And the one that always stood out to me was Billie Holiday, because she had the flower in her hair. So when I saw that this movie was on Hulu. Okay, I was about to say Netflix, and I was like, no, it's not Netflix, it's on Hulu. I knew I had to see it. And Andra Day playing Billie Holiday did not disappoint. Like, she took this role and she played Billie Holiday. And so you guys get a chance to see it. If you haven't seen it yet, The United States versus Billie Holiday, definitely check that out. It was a great movie.
I'm gonna have to give it, because Sunday on Lifetime, Robin Roberts is doing the Mahalia Jackson. She's the executive producer for the Mahalia Jackson story. And so I cannot wait to see this. Yes. Man. So I'll have to go check this out. Somebody else, I told you, I've heard some really good things about this movie. It's on Hulu. So I'm like, right. So. But I'm gonna have to go check it out. But you said it, I can't wait. So for you all don't know, Jarrett is already planning for homecoming next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so Stephanie's being taken to the drug right on along to homecoming for homecoming next year. So so I cannot wait to see this mural. I'm excited about that kind of stuff. I love culture like that. And I love and I have to say this is off subject, but what you just said about learning about who your people are is so critical to me. I feel like it's something that's something that I missed. First of all, I went to all white everything, right? And so I went to pretty much majority white everything. My elementary school, my high school, my colleges, majority white, right? And so I missed out on that. And it's something that I really feel is so critical that we need to figure out how to put that back in. Like, shout out to Shivy in Atlanta. He's a teacher, but he's also about to run for office. And so he does a really good job with his students of introducing that kind of stuff. I just saw a post he had where he had his door decorated with Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, wow.
So I loved it, right? Like, yes, he works at Drew Charter. So So but we need more people like that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like having that gives you something that nobody can take away from you.
Right.
No matter the lies, no matter the media, no matter how things get skewed, none of that. They can't take that away from you because you get right. I took the time to learn this stuff on my own. That's how I know it, because I wasn't gonna get it from the schools.
From the school, right.
Yeah. So
shout out to Imhotep Academy. Well, I don't like how things ended there with Jack having gone there. The one thing I can say is that school was all about teaching pride and self, and making sure, I want to say every week they learned about 2 different Black historical leaders. And it wasn't just
Martin Luther King and
Rosa Parks. It wasn't like, they got deep into Black history, and I truly appreciated about that school. Appreciated that about that school.
Today was a little deep. It's all good though.
We at the end of it though. We at the end of another one. The end of 105. Those of you who want to reach out to us on through email, first hit us up at field2podcast@gmail.com. If you want to hit us up on Twitter at field2, on IG at field2, the real podcast. You can reach out to us on our Facebook page, the Field to the Real Facebook page, the Field to the Real podcast, Facebook page. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. And is there someplace else that I'm missing?
You said Twitter, you said IG, you said Facebook, you said Gmail, you said, oh, that's it.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. I am tired.
Yeah. And shout out, listen, show them your shirt. Shout out Jethro's other podcasts, y'all. They doing their dang thing over there. They doing their thing over there.
Oh man, we be wilding. I love my brother. Shout out to L, him downstairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all do y'all thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, y'all.
All right. Well, as always, we truly appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
I promise I'm gonna get better. Because I went like 2 weeks without I won't even get into the story, but I went like 2 weeks without posting, or maybe longer than that on IG.
Yeah. I text you like, wait, ain't nothing on
happened?
IG,
ain't nothing
on YouTube.
What happened on YouTube?
What's wrong?
YouTube was a YouTube thing.
Okay.
Part of it was my fault for just not checking behind it, because I'll download some stuff and then close my laptop and be like,
right,
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'll make sure I'm in the pocket on this. But as always, we love you guys. We appreciate you. We out. Peace. You did it this time.
I did it. I look, but I know I got this shirt on.
Oh, you did it right in front of the shirt.
I'll be okay.
Oh man, bye y'all.
Now put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.